Hey cousins, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Richgirlred and I'm back with another one. Today I'm going to show y'all how to pluck a 5x5 lace wig, and I'm going to show y'all in detail how I pluck my wigs, everything y'all need to know. So if you're new here, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like and comment, share with a friend so you can become a rich babe and a rich hustler. And this is a channel where we do lifestyle, we do faith, and we do hair. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the first thing you want to do is add some mousse to the hair. As y'all can see, this lace did have kind of a lot of hair on it. So I'm trying to get it as flat as possible before I actually start plucking. So I went ahead and added some mousse and used a rat tail comb to comb the mousse through and comb it down as flat as I possibly could get it. Sometimes I would also put the hair in a ponytail, but this particular time I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna leave it as is. And after I put the mousse on there, I'm going to take the hot comb and run the hot comb through it. So this just ensures that the lace is a lot flatter and it helps with a flatter foundation from when we're actually plucking the lace. You want it to be as flat as possible because you don't want it to be super bulky and then you're not able to really pluck how you need to pluck. You also want to make sure that you have a decent tweezer. And what I do, if you watch my other video, I start at the very end of the hair and I pluck 3 to 5 times and I skip that section. Skip the next section. So you want to pluck, 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 pluck one more time and skip. I try to make it to where it's actually like an indent almost. So I pluck and I skip. You just keep plucking and you keep skipping. So you don't want to pluck in the same section too many times, or you're leaving yourself open to have bald spots. But this is how I looked at so far on that side with me plucking, and this is how I looked at on the other side, so y'all can kind of see the difference. I had to go ahead and put some caps, and it's really best to put like a white t-shirt under there because I really couldn't see with myself plucking. And I went ahead and restarted. So when I pluck, I also like to pluck in an angle. I want to make sure that I'm not plucking straight back because your hairline does not go back in a straight back motion. So you don't want to pluck in a way to where it looks unrealistic. The whole point of you wearing a lace is for it to look realistic as possible. So when I pluck, I almost like to leave an indentation of hair in between each pluck. So maybe, I would say maybe about 1 to 2 centimeters of hair in between each indentation of pluck. That's how you are going to get, to me, the best looking pluck lace possible. Have hair, skip some, have hair, skip some, because real edges, unless your edges are just super thick, this is usually how real edges are going to look. They're going to be kind of sparsy and thinned out, and they're not always going to be super thick. So I start back over, I go back through, and I don't hit the same parts, and I thin out those middle parts, but I don't fully bald the parts like I did when I first went through. Because if you fully bald it, obviously you're going to have just a whole bunch of bald spots, and you're not actually going to have that cut through look to where it looks like you plucked and skip, plucked and skip. It would just be completely bald. So after when you get done with that, you want to go ahead and part the hair, and we're going to start plucking behind the hairline now. So you want to go in the same motion and pluck in the same places that you plucked just the last time. So you should be able to see the indentions of where you plucked the last time. You don't have to start in the same place. I started at the front this time and I worked my way down. You know, the other time I started at the ear and I worked my way up. So start where you're comfortable, and you want to make sure that you pluck wherever you started, pluck it all the way back, because it's going to give that illusion of the hairline being sparsed all the way back. I hope that makes so much sense. I really hope that makes sense. I am not trying to confuse anybody, but I want it to make sense so it can look according to how it's supposed to look. Also, while you're plucking, you want to comb the hair out as you go. And as you see, how I'm plucking it looks exactly how I plucked it the first time, because I'm following the same guideline. And now that I plucked it in the front, I have a guideline that I can follow so that it flows all the way back. And you'll see exactly what I'm talking about once I show y'all the end. If you made it this far, make sure y'all go ahead and subscribe, like, comment on this video, comment on what you want to see more from me, and also make sure y'all share this video. Now, as you can see how now the plucking is all the way a little bit further back than it was. That's what I mean when I say pluck in the same sections when you part it, because it's gonna give you more of that seamless look. Now, this is the side I plucked, and this is the other side, so you can kind of see the difference. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and start on the other side. Now, I like to get the sides looking pretty similar before I go in and do any extra plucking. Now I'm going starting in the middle on this side, and I'm going all the way over. To me, 5x5 lace is probably the easiest lace to pluck. 4x4, 5x5, because it doesn't take so long. You're not plucking all the way across ear to ear. This is technically, I guess you could say, temple to temple. So I know I said ear to ear earlier, but yeah, this is technically temple to temple. And I'm doing the same thing. Well, I didn't actually start from the middle. I started over like I did on the other one, and I'm doing the same pluck, skip. Y'all, I'm so sorry that the focus was kind of messed up on this part right here. It just kept going in and out. I'm not sure why. But yeah, the focus was really messing up. So it should be clearing up in just a second, but you are going to do the same thing on this side. You want to pluck, skip, and like I said, give about 1 centimeter to 2 centimeters of space. You don't want that much space, but you also want some kind of space so it doesn't look completely bald. And again, I apologize that y'all can't really see what I'm saying, because it is completely blurred out at this point. And I think my arm was kind of making it blur out too. So I am working on better ways on how I can record. I kind of have to use what I have. So I'm working as hard as I can, trying to give y'all better content and come in a better way so you guys can see things better. So I decided to zoom in real close on this part so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. But as you can see, I'm plucking in the same wave that I was plucking. If you really pay attention to the pattern in the front, I'm plucking in the same areas. So you want to kind of stay within the same areas, because it's going to give you that look that you want of scalp. Now, I will say it does also depend on how you want your lace to look, how you want your edges to look. Now, if you have a 13x4 and you want it to look more like your edges, I would say pluck a little bit, don't over pluck, and also put it on your head so you can see how far back, or if you went too far back, or whatever the case may be, that you need to do for your lace. But yeah, I part it at least once to twice, and I try to go back a little far. For 5x5s, you do not have to go back as far as you would for a 13x4 or even a 13x6, because there's limited space, so you don't have to go back so far. So now I'm done plucking the front. I'm going to take my comb and use it to create my middle part. And I did what I did in the beginning, where I kind of took the end of the comb and parted it, because it just helps me get that perfect middle part, and it helps me get it right in the middle, so it's not off scale. So it looks really good so far, y'all. I'm really liking how it looked. And when I do the middle part, I go ahead and try to put mousse and everything on it. And you can also do clips. You can also use a pomade, so you can get it as flat as possible. So I'm using the mousse by Design Essentials to lay this part down. So I put a generous amount and I put it on both sides. After I get done putting the mousse, I like to comb it through with a rat tail comb. I try to use a thin comb because it's just better. It helps me work the product better, and it just, yeah, it's a lot better than using a wide tooth comb. Once I get done working the product through, I begin to go ahead and pluck in the middle. Now for plucking in the middle, you want to pluck just like you would pluck in the front. You do not want to over pluck when you pluck in the middle. I did that this time, but I have a video on my channel on exactly how to fix that. So make sure y'all go watch that video on how I fixed my over pluck middle part on this 5x5. You also want to pluck in the middle. When you pluck in the middle, you want to make sure you are fully taking the knot out. So you want to take the hair completely out. So when you have the part, there's no hair right there. So you don't want to pluck it and then break it, and you just have a whole bunch of knots in the middle. That looks crazy. And then you got to go back in and try to cover it up with something, concealer or something like that. That just looks crazy, and we're not doing that. So ensure that when you're plucking in a straight line, you're plucking straight back or forward, and make sure that you are pulling the knot completely out of the lace. Also, make sure that when you are pulling the knot completely out the lace, that you are not ripping the lace. Because this is HD lace, the lace is a lot thinner. It's a lot more prone for it to rip. So this is me showing y'all how I actually fix the lace. Like I said, if you want to watch that video on how I fix the middle part, y'all make sure y'all go ahead and click that video down below. I also have that video attached. And this is the final product. I love y'all, and I will see y'all in the next one.